Electronic drum patterns. That's right, that's what this video is all about. Today, I'm gonna be playing them for you. We're gonna see how they're made, what goes into playing them, and if you're interested in grabbing any of these, we've got a MIDI pack in the description below. Go ahead and download those. Let's play some drums. Hip-hop drums. Let's make it funky on this one. Hip-hop drums are characterized by a strong backbeat on the 2 and 4, and they often use a 16th note hi-hat. And this is heavily inspired by the soul drumming sound of the 70s and 60s. You'll hear this kind of groove in modern artists today like Kanye West and Daniel Caesar. And if you're interested in making R&B or hip-hop, this is a great kind of groove to start with. Tone-wise, you want to go with like a more lo-fi sound because they were sampling off of LPs, off of vinyl, into their SP1200 samplers in the 90s at least. To make this beat, I used the sample pack vintage hip-hop drums from Lander Samples. Drum and bass. It's all about knowing how to use drum breaks and using a lot of different snare samples, I find. So drum and bass music is largely built off of drum breaks, often sampled from old soul and funk records. The most famous one being, of course, the Amen break. For modern drum and bass, my big trick is just to have a bunch of different snare drum samples, one lower, one higher, some clicks, just to add a bit of variation to like that snappy tone that you have on the backbeat. Then you combine that all to have different sounds come out of your breaks. And combining the Amen break, for example, but other ideas, really you just gotta listen to like what these producers did. My favorite drum and bass artist for sure is Source Direct, with Footwork also being another great inspiration, but you'll hear this kind of drum pattern on stuff from Danielle Harl and even in Pink Pantheress. The sample pack I used to make this beat was Underground DnB and then 909s. Yeah, the 909 sampler was a very common sampler used to make this kind of genre, and it's kind of an iconic drum sound, so combining these samples is a great start for writing drum and bass drums. Trap beats, triplets, hi-hats, 808s. Let's go. Trap drums are basically a carrying forward of hip-hop drumming styles, but with a lot of 16th notes and triplets and 16th note triplets in the hi-hats, so you'll hear crazy hi-hat rolls all over the place. And then, of course, the booming 808s that were inspired by the sound of the TR 808 drum machine, but of course, today, 808s sound nothing like them. They're way more boomy and a lot more distortion has been put on them, so that you need to grab a great sample pack for that. I used Drip Sauce 2 to make this beat. Often, you're programming these beats into a MIDI roll, and producers these days actually really like to play them in manually to get a human feel with different velocity curves, since punching them into the MIDI roll can be a bit time-consuming and hard to really capture a human feel, so it is good if you can play them, and if you can't, grab the MIDI pack. These kind of patterns, you'll hear them all over Gucci Mane, Future, Drake. This is super, super bread and butter trap type drum beats for so many trap artists. House drums. Okay, let's try some patterns here. House music comes from Chicago. It's definitely inspired by the 60s, 70s, 80s soul and funk records that these producers and DJs would sample. And the name house itself comes from people asking for the music that was played at the warehouse where these DJs would play. To make this beat, I used this sample pack called Deep Minimal Techno, and also a bunch of 909 samples, since the TR 909 was a huge influence for making this genre and still is used by so many producers today. If you want to make this kind of music, you'll definitely need a TR 909 sample pack at the very least. House music, drum patterns are used everywhere in pop music, but some examples could be Pink Pantheress or Robin S. But if you listen to almost any like Dua Lipa track or anything like that. You'll hear that kind of drum pattern used in all of their music. It's a very common disco influence style, so of course it makes it into there. Techno drums, they're kind of like house, but a little faster. Techno is like house, but faster, and if you couldn't tell, it's kind of all about the kick drum. So it's a 4-on-the-floor kick drum, like more than anything else, and it's really just about the kick drum tone. It should be slamming, pounding your head. Go look for a techno sample pack and find the sample that speaks to you as being the most pounding sound. Producers sometimes like to throw a little delay on the kick to give it a little bit more bounce. Other than that, weird auxiliary samples are what you want, and then maybe a crunchy open hi-hat and a clap going at a really fast BPM. That's how you make techno, in my mind. To make this beat, I went to the Berlin Techno sample pack on Lander Samples, picked out the slammingest kick I could find, and then some open hi-hats, a clap. I grabbed some FM drum samples and put them on these toms to make options for weird samples to play. I find techno is more minimal with the percussion, but then they add in like interesting sounds. It's about sound design almost more than it is about rhythm, in my opinion. Modern techno examples that would use this would be A-Rod, for example, their track Universe of 90s Techno Parties. Classic song that a lot of people know, it could be Cascada, Every Time We Touch, really does have a techno taste to it, especially with the tones and speed of the track. Dubstep, build up, drop, give me that bass. Dubstep, it's all about the drop. The drums are very different before the drop and after. In the beat I played, I start with like a build-up and I'm modulating up a subdivision every time, meaning that I'm doubling the speed of whatever I'm playing until I get to a big crash, and then I like to play some kind of little drum fill and then drop into a halftime, kind of laid-back rock, hip-hop kind of groove. And I'm using really fat, sort of Linn drum-inspired samples, but I went and looked and found a dubstep sample pack that just used really chunky sounds that would go under like a wobbling dubstep bass. It really is just kind of about arranging the drop, having a space that's closed, and then a fill that goes into the dub part, which is halftime, which is inspired from like reggae and dub music. This is the kind of rhythm that you'll hear used by people like Zed's Dead and Skrillex. Speaking of dubstep, why don't you give us a double thumbs up and step into our subscribers? Like and subscribe. EDM, intelligent dance music? I don't know, what is that? What do you think it is? Let me know in the comments, but here's an idea. EDM is really hard to describe. I think of Flying Lotus and Aphex Twin, so these people use pretty interesting samples and just mess around a lot with the grooves. I find that they like to have long cymbals and then like funky grooves that are interspersed with wild tom playing, so that's kind of what I was trying to do in that groove. To make this beat, I grabbed the FM drum sample pack. It's pretty cool. It's based off of an FM synth where they've sampled all kinds of different weird drum tones, and I just kind of picked out something to make the kit. Thinking about it, I was putting in longer cymbal sounds and to get like long kind of sizzling cymbal tones, but really just putting together a weird electronic tom drum idea and then playing a groove that was funky. Hot take alert, EDM is a really pretentious name for a genre. Intelligent dance music, like all music's intelligent in some way or another. Everyone's intelligent enough to understand EDM, so why is it above other genres? I don't think so, but whatever. It's a thing on people think of EDM as a thing. Okay. Footwork. These are crazy drum patterns straight out of Detroit. Let's give it a try. That was good. That was good. So this is kind of a deep cut thing for me. I love Footwork. It's a Chicago-based genre of dance music, heavily inspired by trap, but brings in all kinds of crazy rhythms using triplets and crazy syncopation. This genre was pioneered by DJ Rashad and DJ PayPal, two incredible producers, RIP DJ Rashad. I'm thinking about changing between a triplet feel and a quarter note feel, and then going between that and like a really trappy, but highly like tripleted feel that's quite a bit faster. I think this was like a 170 BPM guy, so that's what Footwork is to me. And to make this beat, I found another trap pack that had a bit of a heavier 808 sound, and then I basically put that around the kit with some congas, and that was how I made this beat. All right, so that's it for this one. I hope you learned something about electronic drum patterns. I had a blast. This is my first time on the channel, and it's just been super, super fun. And other than that, thank you. We love our fans. Bye.